Okay, finally, week 9. Now, the difference between rationalism and empiricism. Rationalism, as we know, believe that concepts and knowledge are gained independently of sense experience. It relies on reason, deduction, and innate ideas, you know, as we discussed beforehand. However, no, rationalists argued that the five senses only provide opinions and not reason, similar to, who was it? Plato. In empiricism, Locke, in particular, we are talking about John Locke this time. Empiricist philosophy acts as the direct opposite of rationalism. It posits that sense perception and induction are the ultimate sources of all concepts and knowledge. Their ideas are acquired exclusively through experience, not through innate knowledge, not through whatever it is in your mind. They're only through experience. To Locke dedicates the first book of his essay to rejecting the concept of innate ideas. He argues that if foundational principles or moral principles were truly innate, then idiots or stupid motherfuckers would also come up with that evidence. They would also immediately perceive them, but there's no evidence that they do. So, John Locke says that every human at birth, their minds are tabula rasa, which means a blank slate upon which experience writes everything we come to know. While humans are born with automatic instinctual behaviors like reflex motions, they're not considered ideas or contents of consciousness. They just happen because they happen. Experience is the only source of ideas. For Locke, an idea is defined as anything that exists within the mind or consciousness. God damn, my Subway Surfers ended. The only source that inputs ideas into the human mind is experience, which comes in two forms: sensation, reflection. Sensation is just ideas that are derived from five traditional senses: smell, see. Those sensations give us notions like solid, smooth, heavy, round, blue. Reflections, on the other hand, are internal senses that make individuals conscious of the mental processes or operations they engage in. So, this is like our cognitive functions. Your reflection is your acknowledgement of your cognitive functions like memory, imagination, doubt, remembering a past birthday party, judgment, fear, willing. When you access the subconscious, you're accessing the reflection, your inner experience. Simple versus complex ideas. Basically, what he says is you have simple ideas like red, cold, sweet, loud, and round. But complex ideas are what happens when you mix and match these different simple ideas together. They're like the building blocks of your bigger ideas. Okay, as you can see here. So, now these are further divided into three separate subcategories. One is substances, things existing independently. How? I don't know, like desks, sheep, mountains. This also includes collective substances that form a whole. Individual buildings considered together as a town. These are more like concepts. Modes are ideas of things that depend on substances, categorized as either simple or mixed. Don't ask me what these mean. They probably won't be used in the exam. I don't think you will see a question on these. Relations are ideas involving more than one substance. For example, the concept of a husband requires more than just the idea of an individual man, like two men, because you need to compare them. Get it? Yeah. To explain how we know the external world exists, when we only immediately perceive ideas, Locke relies on a specific formula: sensation plus judgment equals perception. We receive raw sensations, but our minds overlay them with non conscious judgments. So you don't really think about the judgments or interpretations that you give these raw sensations, but they just happen. They're non conscious. They yield our perceptions. This makes Locke a critical realist. He sits between two extreme philosophies. Idealism believes that there is no real world and only our sensations and perceptions exist. So, this is a complicated thing. This part is arbitrary, by the way, or it's not really useful in the exam. Just this just means that since we can never know if the real world exists or not, because everything gets processed, everything changes, we can't ever be sure that there's a real world. It's kind of like the brain in a jar, but not really, because the brain in a jar says that there is a world outside. It's more like a simulated reality theory. Forget it. It's stupid. But naive realism just believes that perceptions are an exact isomorphic replica of reality, failing to account for how the brain and senses transform incoming data. So reality is just reality as we perceive it. Yay! But Locke says a real world exists, but our senses modify the incoming data by processing in a manner that our brain can make sense of it. So it's never truly the real world. It's just modified in a way that we can comprehend it. So, how does he prove God? We prove ourselves or know ourselves through a process called intuiting. I don't know what it means. Ideas are known through reflection, things are known through sensation, and God is known through logical proofs and reason, carrying evidence equal to mathematical certainty. Since we know we exist, and since bare nothing cannot produce a real being, something powerful must have existed for eternity to create us. Therefore, God. Now we're gonna look at two epistemological questions. Can we know objects exist when they are not being perceived? Where did she go? Peekaboo explained. While we cannot be absolutely certain, common sense dictates that they likely continue to exist. These are the answers of Locke. Can we know objects exist while we directly perceive them? Well, yes, it defies common sense to be so skeptical as to doubt an object exists while actively observing it. It's literally right there. What are you saying? And that was John Locke for you.